Recorded Books presents The Passionate Tudor, a novel of Queen Mary I by Alison Weir, narrated by Rosalyn Landor. Part 1. The King's Daughter. As to the princess, my daughter, she is the King's true child, and as God has given her unto us, so I will render her again to the King as his daughter, to do with her as shall stand for his pleasure. Neither for my daughter, nor any worldly adversity, nor the King's displeasure that might ensue, will I yield in this cause to put my soul in danger. Katherine of Aragon. Chapter 1. 1525. Mary's earliest memory was of a glittering ceremony at her father's court, when she must have been very tiny. She could recall nearly tripping over her silk skirts, grasping her mother's hand as they greeted some very important strangers. She had been aware that it was her special day, and that she was the centre of everyone's attention. She could remember the whole court bowing to her as she toddled past, and later the roar of that great golden giant, the king her father, as he threw back his head and laughed heartily, brushing back a tear at something she had said. "You asked the French ambassador if he was the Dauphin. If you are, you said, I want to kiss you," her sainted mother told her, one February afternoon 7 years later, still smiling at the reminiscence. Mary loved to see her mother smile. It brought a radiance to her face, made her almost beautiful, although she was very old and often looked tired and sad. Mary knelt upon the cushioned window-seat beside her and peered through the diamond panes of the casement at the palace gardens below, where she could see the Queen's maids playing tag, cheered on by some young, gaudily dressed gentleman.
"Is it true that I was going to marry the Dauphin?"
Mother smiled. "Yes, you were set to be Queen of France, but God had a greater destiny in store for you."
"Yes, I am going to be the Holy Roman Empress and Queen of Spain as well as Queen of England."
Mary fingered the gold brooch on her velvet bodice that bore the legend, "The Emperor," which she wore always to honour her betrothed.
"When will I go to Spain?"
"Not for a long time yet, I hope," Mother said, picking up her embroidery. "When you are old enough to be married."
"Lady Salisbury says that girls can be married at 12.
Mary persisted.
"I'm 9 now."
"I was 15 when I came to England to be married to your uncle, Prince Arthur," Mother said. 12 is too young, and you are small for your age. You still have a lot of growing up to do." Mary heard the relief in her voice, and suspected that her mother was dreading their parting as much as she was. While part of her relished the prospect of her glorious future, she hated the thought of leaving England, her parents, and everything she loved and knew, because it would be forever, unless she was very, very lucky. Look at Mother. She had never been back to her native Spain in nearly 25 years. Already Mary could imagine the despair of homesickness. "When he was here, the Emperor Charles asked your father if you might go to Spain immediately," Mother told her. Mary drew in her breath sharply. "He said you should be educated as befitted a future Empress and Queen of Spain. But your father said that if Charles searched all Christendom for a lady mistress to bring you up after the manner of Spain, then he could not find one more perfect than myself, for I have such an affection for Charles that I would bring you up to his satisfaction. And Charles, bless him, had to agree. I was so relieved, because I felt you were not strong enough to risk a sea voyage or acclimatize yourself to the air of another country. I was remembering my own terrible voyage to England, and how ill I was for 6 years after my arrival, and I was a lot older than you." She smiled at Mary and stroked her hair. "When the time comes, we will make sure that you sail to Spain at the most clement time of year. You will love Spain, daughter. I had the happiest childhood there. After my parents drove out the Moors and reclaimed the land for Christ, my sisters and I grew up in the great palace of the Alhambra at Granada. It is a beautiful place, with fair courtyards and fountains. This future is what I want for you. I have always prayed that you should find happiness in the land of my birth."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?